Greg, good to see you, man. Welcome to Popternative.
Hello, thanks for having me.
It's really exciting because, at some point there is kind of that, message or phone call about, an audition or an opportunity for a project, right? And then we have, Final Fantasy Tactics, a new game coming out soon. What's that like for you in regards to, is there like a specific story about the audition process for this? Was it like an offer? What's that story about how you got involved with that game specifically?
Well, first of all, the game is out. It's out now. Came out on Tuesday, this week. And the process for the audition, these auditions, especially for video games, a lot of the time we don't know what we're auditioning for. So I didn't know that I was auditioning for Final Fantasy. They all come under code names. The characters have code names as well, so that we don't know what we're auditioning for, so we can't tell people, and we can't. I suppose we can't do a Tom Holland and, and
Yeah, whoops. Yeah, that's the
yeah,
best thing.
exactly. So they like to, they like to keep everything's under wraps. So I didn't know I was auditioning for Final Fantasy um, until I got the job. So it was all a big surprise. And then when I found out it was Final Fantasy, I was super excited. I mean, to be honest, I didn't know. I obviously knew what Final Fantasy was, but I'd never heard of Final Fantasy Tactics. I'd never played it. So I then, once I got the job, went and had a look at what it was and realized that it's such a huge game with a huge fan base. And so I was just very excited to be a part of it.
And when do you kind of start, like, whether it's part of your research process or not? Like, it is such a big, rich world, right? Like this Final Fantasy world. There's so much kind of past source material, right? Like, do you kind of, once you kind of establish that you got the job, are you gonna go and do like a bunch of research and like play old games and look at old source material? Or do you kind of leave it alone and focus
Yeah,
on Final Fantasy Tactics?
it. I decided not to do that. I wanted to come at it fresh and not have too much of a preconceived idea of what I was going to do or what had been done before. Because Final Fantasy Tactics as you know, is a remake of a very popular game from the
Yep.
90s. And so it had already had some voice actors on it. We voiced the whole game, which is slightly different to how it was done before, with just the scenes. And those guys were amazing, and very well regarded for what they did. Um, I didn't want to. I didn't want to listen. I didn't want to worry myself too much. Give myself too much of a um, preconception of what it would be, and didn't want to inform myself too much of what had come before me. So I wanted to come at it fresh and just use the text and the material that we got in the room.
Absolutely. When you get everything that, like all those materials you talk about your character specifically, what is something that kind of jumps out to you about this character, even before going in and diving into this role, so to speak? What's the kind of standout specifically?
Well, I mean, the game in general, the writing is amazing. It's very, uh, the language is very, people liken it to Game of Thrones, that sort of very old English sort of, verbose language, which is really fun to play with. And it really stood out. The script just stood out. The story is so good. And it's not often you get a script where you're like, wow, this is amazing. I want to do this. So that really stood out. And with the character in particular, Delita, the character I play is called Delita. He has such an amazing and interesting story arc.
Yeah.
And I don't want to give too much of it away for people that haven't played it yet or don't know much about it. But he has this he has this moment in the game which crushes his world and sends him on this new path, a new journey. Um, Maybe he's a villain, but maybe he's not. Is very
Misunderstood.
he's misunderstood, and that moral ambiguity is something that really drew me to the character, and I was really excited to play that and to see how I would play that.
Absolutely. And it's interesting too, 'cause it's all storytelling at the end of the day. You've been in TV and film as well. You're working on a video game. Does your mindset change when you work on a video game or prep for a video game compared to TV or film? Or is it all kind of storytelling for you specifically?
Not really. I mean, the great thing about video games is that you don't have to learn the lines. I
Yep.
mean, that's the biggest difference. So there's that stress taken away from you immediately. But at the end of the day, it's all acting. It's like technically there are some things that have to change, whether you're doing theatre or TV and film or a video game. Technically, the way you use your voice. But in terms of the acting, I approach it like any other role. Just, it's a character. I want to give it as much truth as possible and tell the story and do it as much justice as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. And to kind of add to that as well, learning experiences are going to happen whether you've been on a set one time or thousands of times. You're always going to have like learning experiences. With Final Fantasy Tactics, what were some, you mentioned like not having to know the lines, but like what were some kind of learning experiences on this video game, on this project that you'll be able to take for future projects and maybe not even for other kind of voiceover work, but maybe for like other like live action? Like, is there anything like you learned that was like very universal and evergreen from working on this project?
Um, I mean, one thing, we touched on it a minute ago, is that I didn't really look too much into what it was about, and I kind of wish I had because I didn't realize it was such a huge responsibility. I think in one breath, I would have liked to have known that, but also I think it would have given me a lot of pressure. Um, so I don't know if that's a lesson, but yeah, I don't know. I think yeah, I don't think there's any real lesson other than that.
That's a good one, absolutely. Um, I want to kind of know now that the game is out, what kind of excites you the most about being part of like a video game world, so to speak, where like you said, like you have been part of these worlds in the past that have had like sequels and spin-offs and everything, but like we started this interview off big world and everything. Um, does it make you want to be, part of other big worlds? You know what I mean? Will you have to maybe do some research, like you said, before going into one? Like, I'm just curious about that because this is like you've established you're now officially like forever part of the Final Fantasy world, right?
Yeah.
So it's like, what's that like for you in regards to wanting to kind of explore other big worlds? You know what I
It's
mean?
super exciting. I
Yeah.
mean, one of the greatest things about Final Fantasy is the fan base and the community around it, and something that I'm learning as this is unfolding. Because as I said, I didn't know too much about it to begin with,
Yeah.
and I have been doing video games before, but the gaming world seems to really be flourishing at the moment, and the community around it is really just growing and growing, and it's so supportive, and it's such a cool space to be in. And also with the voice actors and directors are now starting to get recognition for the work that they're putting into these games as well, and it's becoming almost like a symbiotic relationship with the fans
Mhm.
and the community. And I think that is one of the most exciting parts of it, actually, because we're getting to do things like this and getting to talk to the people who are actually enjoying these things that we are creating. And sometimes we get the opportunity to meet the people that are playing these games, and they get the opportunity to meet us. We talk about, it's not just us doing something for them. It's a real symbiotic relationship, and
Yeah.
that's really exciting to be a part of.
And has it started to sink in that the video game is out there in the world? Like, do you need a couple more weeks to like kind of let that soak in a little bit? I mean, people are probably playing it right now across all the different time zones.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I haven't really thought about that, to be honest. That you know, people will be playing it right now all around the world with our voices. We are in the room
Mhm.
with you guys for a long time. I think this game is like 100 hours or something like that.
Yeah.
It's a big game, so it's a lot of time spent with us,
Yeah.
with with our voices. But yeah, it's just a really exciting thing to be a part of.
Yeah, absolutely. And like I said, the video game is available now. Where could they like they could play it on like a lot of different platforms, right?
Yeah. Yeah, you can play it on, all the major platforms, PlayStation,
Yeah.
Nintendo Switch,
Wow.
Steam, all of those
I'm so
places.
happy for you, man. It's really, really cool. Congratulations.
Thank you. It's exciting, yeah. And you said about, do I need a bit more time to take it in? I'm sort of like, I'm enjoying it with you guys as it's coming out. Like when the trailers came out, we don't get to see any of that. Like the thing
Mm.
about doing voiceover is that most of the time you're in a booth on your own. You
Mhm.
don't meet the other actors. You until later on, or sometimes people who are in it, and whatever. But we do all our stuff on our own, and so it can feel it can feel a bit detached from the whole thing from the thing as a whole, until things start coming out, and then so all these trailers and before the launch, when they were releasing trailers and shorts and stuff like that, we were experiencing that with you guys as the actors. We were experiencing it with the fans, like being, oh my god, oh there's Ramza, there's Dice Dark, oh he sounds great, she sounds great, and hearing like which takes of the voice lines that they've chosen to use, and then seeing the cut scenes, and it's all really exciting for us because we're seeing it for the first time with you guys. So yeah, I'm kind of like experiencing the release and everything with you.
Absolutely. And they can check that out now. Greg, so great chatting with you, man. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Your
having me.
Instagram account is your name, right? With two G's at the end, right?
2 Gs, 3 in total. Yeah, I think it might. Yeah, 2 Gs. Yeah, I think it's Gregg Lowe, GreggIELOW.
Awesome. Well, this has been Pop Turn. YouTube.com/Pop Turn for previous episodes. Until next time, this is Gregg Lowe and PD Beats signing off.
Thank you for tuning in to Popternative. Make sure to check out our past episodes of Popternative on YouTube.
This has been an Autograph Communications production.